Well, good morning, and what a chilly one it is. I even have my little earmuffs on today. It's 36 right now. I think it's 30 degrees Fahrenheit when I got up. It's 36 now, still chilly. But I'll warm up as soon as I get moving around and get working here today. But as you saw, I just unloaded the Amulet 42-inch tilt bucket. So we're gonna hopefully get a chance today to put this on to the mini excavator, and we'll give it a little maiden run. I think I've got quite a bit of work that I want to do with it. As you know, I've kind of my driveway is getting close, but it still have a little bit of drainage problems in a few places where the water is just wants to rot it up, and if I put down stone, well, then that'll make it worse. So before I bring in a mini skid to finish up, getting everything graded properly, both the driveway and down below, I need to do some grading along the sides and make sure I've got my drainage working right and flowing correctly. So I've been waiting for a while, finally bit the bullet and went and got one of these. I tried to find a used one, no such luck, but I was able to get this one, and new, and it will be, I'm sure, a very good addition, helping me do moving earth a bit more, and just the ability to tilt it. I tried digging some ditches with the regular buckets, and it's fine for a straight line, but when you need a nice slope, or you need to do that kind of grading work, I just couldn't do it. And even down by not too long ago, in the last few videos, you saw me working down towards the brook and over that embankment area. I started to get that smoothed out a bit, but I need to do a lot more, and I think this will help do it so much better, because I can really kind of get right in there, get it where I need it, and pull it up, and so I'll learn how to use it. I've never used them before, but me, I'm always learning, and most of the stuff I hadn't done before the last few years when I started this channel. So you're going to see me learn to do it, and you can see if it's something you want to try to do if you got the equipment to do this or want to try it out at some point. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me today, and let's get started. All right, now the moment of truth. Is 5 feet long enough or not to reach up there? Huh. Shoot, it is not long enough. All right, now we're gonna take these apart and put the extended hoses that I have for them on here, because that is not going to reach. Darn. I guess that's what happens when you don't have the equipment where you need it when you're trying to do measurements and figure things out, because oh well. So went pretty well, actually, other than needing an extra hose, but I'm so glad that I brought those and I had the right tools and I had extra fluid. Don't know how well this is working at the moment, but I've just put this Velcro in here. It's not that strong, so if it gets caught on something, it won't hurt the hose. It'll just break the Velcro probably. We'll try that out. I don't really know if that's going to work perfectly or not, but everything else looks really good. Of course, this thing, even as a brand new bucket, it's been sitting outside for a while, and I sprayed some of the rust cutter on it. That's the white on there because there was a little bit of the rust coming off of there, but looks like it's tilting perfectly. Everything's looking good, so I would say, oh yeah, one other thing, of course, those couplers, even when you release the pressure back at the hydraulic fluid tank, you know, you can release that, and there's probably another supposedly 13 to 15 pounds of pressure in there. But an interesting statistic I heard on another YouTube show, and I'm sorry, can't remember exactly who it was to credit him. It was a vendor though, so I'm sure they won't mind me repeating it. They basically said for every 10 degrees of temperature change, the pressure goes up almost 90 pounds in the hydraulic hoses. So often they're really under a lot of pressure. So you saw me using, of course, this Irwin Quick Grip. There's just no way I can get those things on, especially when you're reaching way up above your head like that. But that Quick Grip got them right on, no problem. So. And then, of course, I had to disconnect the thumb, and I used the rubber caps that came on the hoses. Originally, I was going to just hook the hose, the male to the female on this, but then I realized that would allow the fluid to flow freely, and the thumb would end up dropping down. So I just left them the way they are, put the rubber caps on them, and then put a bungee up there to hold them so they don't get in the way. But that should work fine. I guess if I did need to use the thumb, I could temporarily disconnect the tilt, hook up the thumb, and use it with the bucket fixed in the middle, but I don't expect I'll need to do that right now, but that's probably an option if I need to. So the thing I'm most concerned about is making sure these hoses don't get tangled up on things. Luckily, there was a mistake, and I got a 30-inch hose plus the 5-foot hose that I'd originally custom ordered and paid for, and with the little extra couplers, the junctions in the middle, I was able to extend those hoses, and it seems to be working great. The spring is on the part down here that's probably most likely to get tangled or caught on something or on a stick or something, so a limb or something, so hopefully that helps. The upper part doesn't really matter as much, I don't think, but anyway, we're in good shape. Next thing I'm gonna do is grease everything up, and then we're gonna try this thing out. I haven't figured out exactly where. I got a bunch of different things I want to do with it, so I got to pick the one to start first, give me a little bit of practice and experience with it, and hopefully it works well. I'll say the first thing, I don't know, I should probably wait and reserve judgment on it, but when I ordered a 42-inch, and it seemed really big to me when I was holding up a ruler. But I forget how big this, even though it's a mini excavator, it's still, you know, this is a 5-ton, so it's somewhere in the middle. It's still pretty big though. And when you put a 42-inch bucket on something this size, it looks small all of a sudden, and I probably should have gotten the 48-inch. I think that was a big mistake on my part. I should have done more research on that. I know 42, I didn't want to go smaller than 42. 36 would have been too small. That would have been good for a much smaller excavator, but for this thing, it's got more than enough power, and I want to be able to use it, you know, not just for the grading and cutting ditches, but also, you know, being able to scoop up material. And so probably I could have gone to the 48. I think the price was the same. So anyway, just think about that if you're getting ready to order, if you're watching this video to try to learn more about what I've experienced and learned so far. That's one thing I think I would really consider before going with a bucket this small. But let's see, I'll use it for a little bit. We'll see how I feel about it after that. But so far so good, everything connected up well. I was afraid I still had air in the hoses, and I tried to bleed it as well as I could. But as soon as I hooked it up and ran it, it's good, no problem. So I guess I got, you know, it didn't take a lot, but it took probably, yeah, I guess that was probably enough. I'd filled it up to about here on the canister with hydraulic fluid, and so that was enough just to do those last 30 inches on those two, and they're small. They're less than a half inch inside. They're I don't know, less than a quarter inch inside. So there's not a lot of volume that they needed. So I think I got it right, thankfully. So and you saw I used the thread locker, the removable thread locker, which I showed you in the last video. If you want to see me assembling the whole thing initially and why I stick the hoses in there and all that, that's in the, I think that's the previous video, or there's a video shortly before this one, if it isn't immediately before this one. Check it out, and if you want to know more about that's where I kind of took it off of the crate and then struggled with it a little bit, learned some things there, so feel free to go back and watch that. So anyway, let's grease it up and try it out. All right, so this is one of the areas that I think I need to grade, because you can see I've just got this river that comes down through here, goes down that way, and a little bit on this side too. But so I think what I need to do is try to get a ditch on that side. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit more pronounced, and at some point I'm probably gonna have to put something that'll bring the water from this side over to that side and make it all work down that way, since hopefully this, at some point this will be lawn and a house here, and the garage will be up here. I'll take down more of these trees, so I'm going to want that to kind of come and probably cross over without there being a divot there. So I'll get some type of drainage hose or pipe just to kind of reroute that water, but we'll see if I can bring this side down enough, and we'll give it a try. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I think I got the right tool for the job. So I'm going to teach myself how to know how to do it. So let's do it together. Let's learn it together. All right, so that's trial one, first day out. I didn't get to spend as much time as I thought I would today on it, using this new bucket. And I'll show you in just a second what I did. One thing that's not working right, so this boom, the idea is that I should be able to bring this all the way over here to the side so that I can operate it kind of in parallel to the edge. And I wasn't doing that, and I'll show you the results of that. And there's a reason I wasn't doing it. It's because the pedal that makes it swing one way or the other, it'll swing that way okay, but then I can't get it back. Originally I was able to kind of push on the pedal on this side, and it would very slowly, it took me, 10 minutes or something to get it just to come back a little bit. So I didn't mess with that today. Instead, I just tried to, well, you saw what I tried to do. It didn't work great, but let's go down and take a look at how it turned out. So this is my first trial run here, and I dug down this way and then came back on the other side. I had a bit of a hard time, I wanted to make more of a crown in the middle and have it slope off to the sides, and with the excavator it was kind of tricky to do that because I basically had to dig to get one side down a little bit because it was actually the other way. And so it didn't work out perfectly, but this is how it turned out. And which is not even straight on this side. So, I'll end up cleaning it up a bit, but again, just trying to learn to use the bucket. Like I said, the biggest problem was that usually, at least everything I've seen in other videos and other people doing this, when you swing that, if you get that boom swung over to the side, then you can kind of pull it right back to you. Now, I couldn't do that because I was at an angle like this, so I was trying to move a little bit and adjust and keep moving because I couldn't really pull it back. I had to kind of pull it sideways, and when I did that, you could see you just can't get it when you hit a rock or a stump or not a stump, a root. You just can't really keep it perfectly straight. But overall, though, it does it actually has the effect that it needs to. But like I said, what I don't have is this rounding effect, and the mini excavator is really not the right piece of equipment for doing that part of the job. It is certainly for digging the ditches on the sides, for the drainage, but what you really need is like a bulldozer or a track loader to come in. So this still needs a lot of work, but this is kind of my experimenting, right? I'm learning. So I think if I can get out here for another day, I'll be able to get going a lot faster now that I kind of have a sense of what I'm doing to get these to go all the way down. And because the worst part of it is really down all through here. It just seems to get all rutted through here. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a canal that's naturally been forming here, and so I need to create an artificial one on both sides and get this flowing well. So that's the plan. I've got a lot of other things to do with that tilt bucket, but it's working really well. I mean, it tilts really well. I'm still not sure about whether I need whether the 42 inches is right or not. Seems pretty good, so we'll keep going with that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, for watching me learn and fumble a little bit, but that's all right. I get better at it. So it's amazing because the pros would come in here and like in one day they would do like the whole road and they would just have it done so fast. So I have a lot of respect and appreciation for what they do, and I'll be better and faster at it. It just takes practice, but I'm enjoying it as always. Learning to create things, fix things, and enjoy God's amazing creation outdoors. And this was a gloomy day for the most part, but it ended up. We got sunshine. It came out, even though it's cold. My nose is probably turning red, but that's all right. It's beautiful out here, and it's supposed to be cold. It's almost December in a couple more days, so all good, and I'll keep at it and thank you for sticking with me as I do that. Until next time, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you on the next project.